let's go to another clip. I wanted to react to it because I have a personal relationship with one of the people in it. So this is from MSNBC. Congresswoman Carolyn Maloney and Congressman Jerry Nadler are running against each other because of redistricting.
Congresswoman Maloney, you really are launching an attack of sorts on Congressman Nadler by saying, heralding your bona fides when it comes to abortion rights. Do you think that he has not been as strong of an advocate as he should have been during his time in Congress?
I think women fight harder. And when a woman's at the table, the agenda changes. And change doesn't come easily, but it will come if you never give up. And women will never give up on the rights for women.
Congresswoman Maloney, let me press you a bit on that. What do you actually mean by the claim that women fight harder? I mean, I'm asking the question in the context of a broader kind of criticism of the Democratic Party as not fighting hard enough in this particular environment. How will you distinguish yourself as someone who will fight aggressively in light of the forces that seem to be trying to undermine our democratic polity in this moment? So, A, explain to me what you mean by women fight harder, and B, what is the nature of the fight that you understand that's in front of you, in front of all of us, in light of the forces that are trying to undermine the republic at this moment?
Well, I think...
So shout out to, we'll keep playing the clip, but just shout out to Ed Eglod Jr. for basically saying, what are you talking about? Besides invoking the fact that you're a woman, women are for women's rights, women fight harder. What are you talking about? He's both challenging the weaponization of identity politics and also the way that Democrats hide behind it and pretend that they fight for things that they don't fight for. So let's hear her response.
They're trying to undermine the republic at this moment.
Well, I think the fight for abortion rights, for a clean environment, and then for gun safety. I think that I've been rated repeatedly by outside rating organizations, GovTrack and the Committee for Effective Congress is first, second, or third most effective member for getting things done, actually accomplishing things, not just talking, but getting things done. And I have been in the fights in the street, just got arrested last week or week before last, and also in the back room. And I can tell you in the back room, when the doors are closed and the cameras are off, the people who stand up and fight to the death for women's rights are women. And we need more women. We're half the population. We're underrepresented in Congress. We need more Democratic women there in the fight every single day.
Fighting to the death. I want to give you guys a sense of just some examples of Carolyn Maloney, her feminism. So here, let's look at the way she spoke out for women's rights through her clothing at the Met Gala. And she's wearing an ERA dress, Equal Rights Amendment dress.
I gotta say, I'm not loving the color pattern. The stitching seems amateurish. I mean, what is that a him? I don't know what's going on. The material selection is just a little bit off. You have something there with the kind of shawl cape coming down, but then it ends up being just a little bit too busy and just becomes a mess down the front.
Yeah. It's supposed to give off a suffragette vibe. The sewing, the tailoring of it, like a la Mary Poppins. But the cape thing, I think, is a little distracting. I mean, I get maybe that it gives it a superhero vibe. You, Leslie, of course, would know that more than I. But yeah, ERA, yes.
Yes, maybe that's the problem. It's less of a dress and more of a costume.
Right. Yeah. Let's look at her showing her girl boss power back in 2001.
Women and girls cannot venture outside without a burqa, which they are forced to wear. It's an expensive, heavy, cumbersome garment which covers the entire body.
Is the expense her concern? Like, is she just asking to subsidize them?
Subsidize burqas, yeah.
And it includes a mesh panel covering the eyes. Let's be clear. We are at war with the Taliban. strictly because they're harboring Osama bin Laden and because they are involved in terrorism against the United States. Still, this just war, which we have no choice but to wage, has contributed to a humanitarian tragedy of staggering proportions. Our commitment to helping the innocent people of Afghanistan must never waver. There are now 1.5 million Afghan refugees along the Pakistan border. More than half of them are women. 66,000 are pregnant. Winter is imminent. I salute the Bush administration for
How
balancing
is
war with
the
compassion,
burqa gonna
for
change
dropping
any of that?
food.
Like, what does the burqa have to? What does the clothing they wear have to do with 1.5 million people, 1.5 million refugees on the border? Like, what is she talking about?
Because too many of them are wearing burqas, and they are,
So
a
do we
v-
not care about the men because I guess they're in more comfortable clothing? That
yeah, they don't have to spend the money. So here she's gonna really bring it home right now.
I salute the Bush administration for balancing war with compassion, for dropping food as well as bombs. Even in war, we are showing a regard for human life and human rights that the Taliban will never know. The good news is that the Taliban's days are numbered.
All right,
false.
I'm not sure that aged well, given that that was in 2001.
Yes. 2001. Wow.
Yeah,
There's people watching the stream who were not alive when
right.
we said that.
I guess their days. I mean, we could number the
They
days.
were numbered in a
We can
certain
number
sense,
them.
but it was a
Yeah,
high number. It was a
yeah.
very, very high number.
And they're back in power. So, take the number of days between then and now, and that's the number. Then you can add another day tomorrow. But anyway, that's the kind of substantive policy work that Carolyn Maloney does, obviously. As you can tell from her answer, she didn't have anything to say. I think she felt hamstrung by not having multiple costumes on hand to change into. I think she would have loved to have responded with a costume change. Um, and I do want to, in full disclosure, I do want to read you a text that I sent the other day to a friend. Speaking of telling things out of order and nonlinear, let's just say I sent this text to a friend, and I was in the subway in New York City. Okay. And I texted my friend, Carolyn Maloney is sitting next to me on a subway platform bench eating a pepperoni slice. I almost tripped her by accident. Well, she almost tripped on me. Her pizza smells amazing. It's true, ladies and gentlemen. I was in a New York City subway, sitting down, minding my own business, when a woman almost tripped over me. And then I looked at her, and it was Carolyn Maloney, and she was not wearing a mask. She was
Oh,
eating a pizza on the platform, and she even
mm.
took it onto the train with her.
She was eating on the train
Yeah.
in today in this era, in the monkeypox era.
Yeah.
Who
It was,
could
let's see,
not
when
be
did I send
me?
that text? That was on July 9th. I got the
Oof,
receipts. Yeah.
that's full MP era. That's full
Yeah.
MP era.
MPA. MPA. Yeah. Anyway, that's the kind of, and to be fair, Jerry Nadler sucks too, the guy she's running against. He's terrible in Israel. I mean, they all are terrible in Israel. And he also said, he called Russiagate, the new Pearl Harbor. So it's not like I'm not endorsing either one of them. They're going to have to do something good to get a Katie Halper show endorsement.